What's going on YouTube? It's Eli with Common Sense, and I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. So I have been frequenting my local rack stores quite often this past week or so. I told myself with the new year, I'm not going to be buying at the rack stores as much and getting all these cheapies, but some of these really did catch my eye. And so this video and the next video, I'm going to be covering some really nice hidden gems for under $20. And so today I found some awesome fragrances for the ladies. And honestly, I'm a guy, I love floral fragrances, and this brand, if you have not heard about it, I think it might even be worth it to gatekeep this brand. But I love you guys, I'm gonna share it with you, and I feel like you're gonna love this one. So stick around, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump right in. What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me, and it's a pleasure to have you. So today we're going to be looking at two fragrances from the house of Tokyomilk. Now, Tokyomilk, for those who don't know, is a relatively under-the-radar fragrance house. I would dare to say that they're niche quality because there's some amazing compositions in here, and they're very artistic fragrances. So a lot of their fragrances are inspired by the kind of vintage and gothic styles. As you can see from these boxes, it almost looks like the little suitcases and travel cases that you'd see, you know, from the last century. But I think these are really tastefully done, and best of all, they are under $20. Well, right at $20. If you haven't heard of the brand, a lot of their fragrances go for about $50 to $70. So if you haven't tried their fragrances and you do have a boutique near you that does carry them, they are definitely worth getting your nose on. And I gotta say, Bulletproof and Waltz number 14 are some of my favorite fragrances from them. They're just extremely picturesque, and they really are calming, and they put my mind at ease. But the first one we're gonna be looking at today is Tokyomilk's Neptune and the Mermaid 20,000 Flowers Under the Sea. So I was lucky enough to find the ones with the actual fragrance presentation here. I have seen them popping up for the $20 without the box presentation, so they're just the loose bottles, but still, if you find the bottles, pick them up because they're definitely worth it. So as you can see, this is their number 31, and this is their 20,000 Flowers Under the Sea, which is a kind of a nod to the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea novel. We have these really interesting fragrance bottles. They're very sleek, and they really do look nice, especially if you have more than one of them. So if you are a collector like myself, you know, these will look really good on your shelf collecting them. These fragrance bottles are going to be just around that 50 ml mark. They're actually 1.6 ounce, so just shy of that. But as you can see, they have some really cool designs on the back. You have the squid, and you have some of the coral and the florals under, which is definitely what you're gonna get out of this juice. So let's give this a spray. Whoa! I don't know if you can see that. This shot out like an arm length. Let's check that out again. That is a nice atomizer. Wow. So as the name suggests, you're going to get a blast of creamy florals that do have that really nice, refreshing, aquatic feel to them, especially from that white lily. So it is going to be very relaxing, and I feel like you could definitely pull this off fresh out of the shower. And I've actually worn these, and I prefer to wear a lot of these fragrances and floral women's fragrances out of the shower because sometimes I just like the smell of a nice hair care product. I like that floral vibe, and so this is really relaxing, and some of that white lily and that kind of sea salt definitely does come off strong in this one. They also mentioned that they have a coral accord in here, so not really sure what that is. That's kind of just marketing. I really do just feel like this is almost like a sunscreen vibe. So you do have a little bit of that creamy ylang-ylang mixed with some of that salty sea air, and it just smells incredible. So as this kind of settles down on the skin, it takes about 2 hours or so before it starts to sit a little bit closer to the skin. So it is going to smell absolutely heavenly when you first spray it on, but once it settles down, it does get a little closer, but it still smells absolutely incredible. I feel like it takes a little bit of a turn, and you have some more pink florals, so maybe even a little geranium or something in there that just smells a little bit more floral, but it definitely smells more aquatic in the dry down. But it definitely smells a little bit more woody, and you do have a kind of an earthy vibe. This is a really cool one, and I almost feel like they have a bit of ambroxan or a little bit of ambergris in here that makes it smell a little bit more salty, but it's not super synthetic, and it's not going to be ultra strong and dominate the fragrance. This is more of a smooth, well-blended floral aquatic fragrance for women or anybody who wants to smell just soapy and really, really pleasing. Even as a guy, I'd totally wear this one. This one definitely has a solar and a radiant quality to it, so if you want something salty and floral for the spring and the summer that's going to last you most of the day, I think you're really, really gonna like this one. Honestly, 20,000 Flowers Under the Sea, Tokyomilk's number 31 is definitely a hit, and for $20 for about 6 to 7 hours of longevity, I think this is a no-brainer. Next up, we're going to be checking out Anthemoessa. So Anthemoessa is actually the island that the sirens would reside in mythology. I do like the fact that they are sort of this book style presentation. You can put them on the shelf and they kind of fit in with some of that old mythology and the literature, which is really, really interesting. This one is number 84 in the collection, and this one definitely has a lot more pink florals in the presentation. So let's check and see exactly how this one smells. Oh, definitely still really strong. And ooh, this one is definitely a lot more unisex, and I feel like the guys can definitely pull this one off. On this one, I do get a little bit of a honey-like sweetness. So there is honeysuckle in this one and sandalwood, so it's going to be very creamy. You're going to have a nice, sweet, radiant quality to this one. And you also have some jasmine and some salted grapefruit. So the grapefruit blast up top isn't going to be extremely strong or bright or effervescent like some fragrances out there. It's going to be more of a sweet grapefruit, kind of like a candied grapefruit. But man, that is interesting. There is going to be a little bit of a mossy kind of edge to this one too that I'm getting, so it's a little bit earthy, and I think the jasmine definitely comes off very creamy mixed in with that sandalwood. This one definitely has a sweet thing going on, so I definitely get a little bit of honey. I feel like I also get some berries in here and maybe some sort of like blood orange, so it's a little bit citrusy. I feel like it also has a bit of oak moss or something that's just a little bit mossy and a little bit earthy, but it really does just smell extremely pleasing. Haven't hated any of the fragrances that I've smelled from this house or this brand, and I think these ones are definitely more suited for the summer and the spring. But again, like I said, this one I feel like us guys can pull off because of that kind of honey, woody sweetness from the sandalwood and the other notes in here. This one's definitely giving off a Mediterranean vibe, and with those berries, it kind of does remind me a little bit of Viva La Juicy, but in a little bit more of a unisex way. So I think the presentation too definitely makes it look, well, yeah, I'd say it is a little bit marketed more towards women, but I honestly would not mind wearing this, and I will probably put this in my rotation for next week. So let's check out this dry down. Yeah, that's definitely more powdery in the dry down. Yeah, I definitely do feel like I get a little bit of violet or some iris in here, so it's a little bit green. It's definitely soapy, but it has some of that waxy iris in there that definitely smells powdery and almost lipstick-like. If you're looking for something that's definitely got a honey berry-like quality to it with a nice bit of powderiness in there, I think you're gonna love this one, and that one is Tokyomilk's 84 Anthemoessa. All in all, both of these fragrances, and honestly any of the fragrances from this house, are going to be amazing fragrance compositions, and I think they are blind buy worthy if you're not going to be turned away by some floral fragrances. But these ones do smell extremely high quality for the price. These two fragrances smell like you just stepped out of the shower, you washed, you conditioned your hair, and you are just feeling clean and refreshed. And honestly, for $50, they still are kind of worth it in my eyes, but if you can find them for under that $20 mark, I think you're going to get a steal. Anthemoessa is going to be a little bit more unisex despite the very pink presentation and the marketing on this one. And this other one, the 20,000 Flowers Under the Sea, I think it definitely matches that name and the kind of imagery that they're using on the presentations. So both of these are definitely worth it picking up. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these or if you have any other favorite Tokyomilk fragrances. So thank you so much for watching. I've been Eli with Common Sense. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. I mean, look at that. These bottles look really cool on the shelf. I can see just lining them up and whoosh, snatch one up. Yeah, just collector things.